When you look at water, it seems soft, harmless, without aggression. Yet this gentle element has the power to carve valleys, shape mountains, and wear down the hardest stone. How? Not by attacking, not by clashing, but by flowing. It moves around the rock, embracing its shake, never resisting. And yet, with time, the rock changes. This is the nature of true strength. Not loud, not forceful, but constant and adaptable. Many people believe that to overcome something, you must fight it directly, with all your energy and will. But when you meet resistance with resistance, you create a battle that consumes you. Water teaches a different way. It does not struggle against the obstacle, it simply finds another path. If a path is blocked, it moves around. If it cannot go around, it seeps through the smallest cracks. There is no frustration in its movement, no wasted energy. It simply keeps moving. In life, we all face rocks in our path. People, problems, situations that seem immovable. If you hit them head on, you might feel powerful for a moment. But soon you will realize that even the strongest blow can be absorbed by something bigger than you. But if you allow yourself to flow, to adjust, to be patient, you will discover that you can reach your destination without exhausting yourself. The power of water is not in how fast it moves, but in how it never stops moving. Drop by drop, moment by moment, it shapes the world around it. This is why force is not always the answer. The harder you try to control something, the more you lose control. But when you move with the natural rhythm of the situation, you conserve your strength and direct it with precision. Think of those who are rigid, who refuse to bend. When the storm comes, they break. But those who are flexible, those who flow, they survive and grow stronger. In a world that is constantly changing, to stand still and resist is to be left behind. The one who moves like water is never stuck, never trapped, always finding a way forward. So when you face opposition, remember the lesson of water. You don't need to strike harder than your opponent. You don't need to force the world into your shape. Let your movement be natural, your mind be calm, and your spirit be steady. The obstacle before you is not there to stop you. It is there to be shaped by you. In the end, the rock will remain a rock. But over time, the rock will change. Not because you destroyed it, but because you were patient enough, adaptable enough, and persistent enough to let your flow do the work. That is how you win without force. In life, situations rarely unfold exactly as we imagine. The plan you carry in your mind will often meet a reality that is different, unpredictable, and sometimes even chaotic. When this happens, many people panic. They cling to what they know. They resist the change. They try to force the moment into a shape that suits them. But life does not bend to force. It bends to flow. Look at water. It has no fixed shape of its own, yet it can take the form of anything it enters. Pour it into a cup, it becomes the cup. Pour it into a jar, it becomes the jar. It does not complain. It does not fight the boundaries. It simply becomes part of what is. This is not weakness. This is adaptability, the ability to respond without resistance and without losing your essence. When you can adapt to the shape of the moment, you become untouchable. If the moment calls for stillness, you are still. If the moment calls for action, you move. If the moment calls for patience, you wait. You are not bound to one way of being, one way of thinking, one way of moving. This is freedom. This is mastery. Too many people lose themselves in their own rigidity. They decide who they are, what they will do, and they lock themselves in a box. But the truth is, life does not care about the box you build for yourself. It will place you in situations that require you to break it. And if you can't, you will shatter instead. To survive and to thrive, you must be able to let go of your shape and take the one that the moment offers you. This doesn't mean you have no center, no identity. Like water may take the shape of its container, but it never ceases to be water. Its essence never changes, only its form. In the same way, you must remain true to your core values, but flexible in how you express them. When you can do this, you will never feel trapped. no matter where life places you. Adaptability is not about giving in. It is about responding wisely. It's about knowing when to yield so you can advance, when to step back so you can strike, when to move slowly so you can arrive faster. It is about moving with the energy of the moment rather than against it. When you fight the current, you waste your strength. When you move with it, the current carries you forward. So, do not be afraid to change your form. Do not fear the unknown shape the moment demands of you. Take it, fill it, own it. In doing so, you will discover that there is no moment you cannot fit into, no challenge you cannot meet, and no place in life where you do not belong. When you try too hard, when you force every movement, you lose the very thing you are trying to create. Strain makes you rigid. Tension slows you down. True power doesn't come from tightening every muscle and throwing yourself at the problem. It comes from moving with ease without unnecessary effort. The more natural your movement, the more effective it becomes. Think of the wind moving through the trees. It does not push with all its might at once, yet over time it shapes the branches, bends them, even breaks them when the moment is right. There is no tension in its flow. It simply moves free and unbound. In the same way, when you move without strain, you preserve your energy and direct it with precision. Many people confuse effort with effectiveness. They believe that the harder they push, the better the result. But when you force, you fight yourself. You lose balance, you lose control, and you burn out quickly. The key is not to work harder than everyone else, but to remove what is unnecessary so that every movement counts. Efficiency is more powerful than excess. This is why stillness is as important as motion. The pause between actions is where you reset, where you align your body and mind before the next move. It's like the calm before a wave, silent, composed, yet holding the full force of what's about to come. If you are always straining, always pushing, you will never find that calm, and without it, your power will always be scattered. When your movements are effortless, they flow from your center, not from a place of desperation or urgency, but from a place of clarity and control. You're not trying to overpower. You are simply allowing your body to do what it already knows. This is why practice matters. You practice until the action becomes natural, until you no longer have to think about it. Then, in the moment, it happens without struggle. You must also trust in timing. Effortless movement is not about doing less. It's about doing exactly what is needed, exactly when it's needed. No more, no less. This requires patience. It requires awareness. It requires the discipline to hold back until the right moment arrives, and then to move fully into it without hesitation. When you master this, you will find that your power lasts longer, strikes deeper, and feels lighter. You will move like the river, calm in its flow, yet unstoppable in its direction. And in that flow, you will discover that the true strength lies not in forcing the way forward, but in allowing it to unfold with precision and grace. Patience is not weakness. It is not hesitation. It is a form of power so refined that most people overlook it. The river does not rush to reach the ocean, yet it always arrives. It moves with certainty, trusting its path, knowing that time is on its side. In the same way, when you learn to be patient, you learn to conserve your strength and wait for the moment when your action will have the greatest effect. Many people waste their energy striking too soon, speaking too quickly, or making a move before the opportunity is ready. They are like an archer who releases the arrow before the bow is fully drawn. The shot is weak, and the target remains untouched. Patience teaches you to draw fully, to breathe, to feel the moment align before you release. When you do, your strike is clean, precise, and unstoppable. Patience is not sitting idle. It is active awareness. It is watching the situation, feeling the rhythm of what's around you, and knowing when the time is right. It's the predator in the tall grass, motionless yet ready, waiting for the perfect instant to move. It's the seed beneath the soil, unseen, gathering strength until the conditions are right to break through. This is the patience that creates lasting results. When you act too soon, you meet resistance. The world is not ready for your move, and so you waste effort pushing against what will not yield. But when you act in harmony with the timing of things, doors open effortlessly. Your actions seem natural, almost inevitable, and the impact is far greater than if you had forced it. Patience also protects you from being ruled by emotion. Anger, fear, frustration, these can drive you to act recklessly. But when you are patient, you give yourself space to let those emotions pass. You see more clearly. You choose your response instead of reacting blindly. This is how patience becomes a shield as well as a weapon. To be patient is to trust the process. It is to understand that some things cannot be rushed, no matter how much you want them. The river will not skip its bends to reach the sea. It moves through them all, each one shaping its flow, each one preparing it for the next. And yet, no one doubts that it will get there. So learn to wait, but wait with purpose. Use the time to prepare, to sharpen, to align yourself with the moment that is coming. And when that moment arrives, act with the certainty and force of something that has been building, quietly, all along. That is how patience turns into power. The highest form of winning is not in the clash of force against force. It is not in overpowering someone with raw strength, or proving yourself through domination. True mastery is to overcome without confrontation, to win in such a way that the other never even realizes they have lost. This is not deception. It is the art of moving so fluidly that the conflict dissolves before it ever becomes a fight. When two forces meet directly, both suffer damage. Even the victor leaves the battlefield with scars. But when you can redirect the energy of your opponent, when you can flow around their attacks instead of meeting them head on, you remain untouched. You let their own momentum carry them past you, their own weight pull them down. You do not need to resist. You simply allow their force to turn against them. This is why awareness is more important than aggression. You must feel the energy of the other, sense their intention before it is fully formed. The moment you detect the direction of their movement, you do not block it. You step aside and let it pass. In doing so, you conserve your own energy while letting theirs dissipate into nothing. In life, this is just as true. Arguments, rivalries, challenges, most are fueled by ego. People want to prove themselves, to show they are right, to force others to see the world their way. But if you engage with that same energy, you are trapped in their game. Instead, you can choose not to play. You can sidestep the trap by refusing to be drawn into the struggle. And when there is no struggle, there is no battle to lose. This is not about running away or avoiding responsibility. It is about choosing the field where you win. One where you control the rhythm, the direction, and the outcome. Sometimes this means letting the other believe they have won, while in truth, you have lost nothing. You remain whole, calm, and unshaken, while they exhaust themselves fighting shadows. To overcome without confrontation also means knowing when silence is more powerful than words, when stillness is stronger than movement, and when yielding is the surest path to victory. This requires humility because your ego will want to fight, to show its strength. But the ego's victory is temporary. The victory of patience and strategy is lasting. When you learn to flow around the problem instead of colliding with it, you discover that many battles never need to be fought. You arrive at the goal without leaving destruction in your path. And in that quiet, in that absence of struggle, you will find a deeper kind of triumph, one that leaves you stronger, your opponent unharmed and the path ahead completely open. When something is rigid, it is easy to break. A dry branch snaps under pressure. A wall can be cracked and torn down, but water cannot be broken. It slips away from any grit. It moves through the smallest openings. And no matter how tightly you try to hold it, it escapes. This is the strength of fluidity, the freedom to move in any direction without being trapped. Rigidity is often mistaken for strength. People think that standing unmovable means you are powerful. But if you cannot bend, if you cannot shift, then all it takes is the right amount of pressure for you to shatter. True resilience is in flexibility. When the wind blows, the tree that bends survives, while the one that refuses to yield is uprooted. When you are fluid, nothing can confine you. You can be here one moment and somewhere else the next. You can change form, change pace, change strategy without losing yourself. This makes you unpredictable and uncatchable. No one can pin down something that is always in motion, and nothing can trap a mind that is free to adapt. This is not the same as being without purpose. Fluidity does not mean drifting without direction. It means moving with direction while allowing yourself to adjust along the way. A river flows toward the sea, but its path is never straight. It bends, it turns, it shifts around stones and hills, yet it always reaches its destination. The goal remains, but the way is flexible. The danger of being rigid is that you invest all your strength in holding your shape. You waste energy resisting what is inevitable. Change. The world will not stay still for you, and neither will the challenges you face. If you cannot adapt, you are already defeated before the battle begins. But when you are fluid, you are never cornered, because you always see more than one way forward. Fluidity also gives you freedom of mind. When you are not tied to a single outcome or a single method, you cannot be broken by disappointment. If one way fails, you shift to another without hesitation. There is no panic, no despair, only movement. This is why fluidity is power. It allows you to face uncertainty with calmness, because you trust yourself to adapt to whatever comes. The moment you allow yourself to flow instead of fight the shape of life, you stop being a prisoner of circumstances. You stop being trapped in the walls you built yourself. And when nothing can trap you, nothing can truly defeat you. Still water appears calm, unmoving, almost fragile, yet beneath its surface lies the power to shape landscapes, to carry ships across oceans, to rise into waves that can move mountains of stone. Calmness is not the absence of power. It is the control of it. When your mind is still, when your emotions are steady, your power is gathered, concentrated, and ready to move with precision. Many people mistake speed and noise for strength. They rush, they shout, they swing wildly, thinking that constant motion shows control. But uncontrolled movement wastes energy. A still hand can strike with more force than one that is always in motion, because it releases its energy at exactly the right moment. Calmness is not passive. It is an active choice to hold your power until it is truly needed. In life, situations will test you, provoke you, and try to pull you out of your center. If you allow anger, fear, or impatience to rule you, your decisions will scatter like leaves in the wind. But when you are calm, you see more clearly. You notice details that others miss. You can act with intention rather than reaction. In this way, calmness becomes your anchor, the thing that keeps you steady when the waves of life rise high. This calmness must be balanced with the ability to move powerfully when the time comes. Stillness without action becomes stagnation, and power without calmness becomes chaos. The art is in combining them, to remain composed even in the middle of motion, and to unleash your strength without losing your balance. Think of a wave. Before it rises, the ocean pulls back, gathering its force. It appears calm in that moment, but in truth it is building momentum, waiting for the perfect instant to rise. When it moves with purpose. It does not waste itself in random splashes. It strikes with the full weight of its gathered power. This is how calmness and power work together. One fuels the other. If you let your power run wild, you may burn bright, but you will burn out quickly. If you keep your calm but never release your strength, you will never move forward. The key is harmony, knowing when to hold back and when to surge forward. And when you move from a place of inner stillness, every action becomes sharper, cleaner, more effective. Calm water can mirror the sky. Disturbed water reflects nothing. In the same way, a calm mind reflects truth, while a restless mind distorts it. Keep your waters still, and your power will always know exactly where to go. The greatest power is not found in force. It is found in the ability to achieve without the need to struggle. The strongest warrior is not the one who fights the most battles, but the one who wins without having to fight at all. This is not about avoiding challenges. It is about reaching a level of mastery where your presence, your movement, your energy itself resolves the conflict before it begins. When force meets force, both are diminished. Even the victor walks away carrying the weight of the struggle. But when you operate from a place of pure efficiency and understanding, you can shape the outcome without wasting your strength. This is the difference between pushing a boulder uphill and guiding it down a slope. Both move the boulder, but one drains you while the other flows naturally. To become this kind of force, you must remove all that is unnecessary. You must strip away the tension, the hesitation, the overthinking. Your movements, whether in action or decision, should come from clarity, not from desperation. This is why mastery looks effortless to those who watch. What they see is the final expression of countless hours of refinement, until there is nothing left but pure action, free of waste. When you reach this state, there is no need to overpower anyone. You do not fight for control. You simply move in alignment with the moment, and the moment bends in your favor. Others may feel as though you have outmaneuvered them, but in truth, you have simply followed the natural flow that was already there. This kind of power is quiet. It does not boast. It does not show itself unless needed. It is the confidence of knowing you can act without needing to prove it. And because you are not caught in the struggle, you can see more, feel more, and respond with absolute precision. It also frees you from the cycle of conflict. Most battles begin from ego, the desire to prove who is stronger, faster, or more skilled. But when you understand that true victory leaves nothing broken, your approach changes. You stop wasting your energy in unnecessary fights, and you begin to move only where it truly matters. The force that needs no force is the most unshakable of all. It is rooted in control, in awareness, in mastery of self. It is like the current beneath the surface of the water, unseen, yet powerful enough to carry ships across the ocean. You don't see it working, but its influence is everywhere. When you become that current, you realize that victory is not about crushing what stands before you. It is about moving so naturally, so decisively, that nothing can stand in your way at all.